All right. Sorry, I had to virtually unzip my lips. Don't worry about it. Good evening, everybody. I'm drinking on a lovely limeade martini right now. A lime drop martini. That's what it is. Lime drop. Now I can taste it. I can taste the difference now, Caroline. So, yeah, the show. It's inevitable that my show will start off with difficulties. Literally, I set up the the microphone before I left. Everything was great. I'll go outside. I come back. It broke again already. So expect the show to have its inevitable set of technical difficulties at any moment. Once the show gets properly funded, we'll fix those problems with a brand new computer. All right. So today I've got for you organ harvesting, guys. Guys, organ harvesting. Let me say hello to everybody in the chat. Karen B, hello. That's the first name I saw in there. Ted Somers, first. Zulu1. Nice. Weird. This is a few weeks ago. It's fucked up. What? What's a few weeks ago? Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I'm going to show you a couple of things, actually. I'm going to talk about several things. Hey, Zulu, and let's see, Ted's in here. Joe Mama, Ace, what's up, guys? Holly's in the house. Caroline, and Good Times for All, what's up? All right, so let me pull it up, guys. I'm going to crack open the organ harvester for you guys. This is episode 1A of my studies into organ harvesting, so expect more shows about this. Today we're going to talk about 3 different videos that I have in the folder. I'm going to read, or 3 different articles, whatever it turns out to be, involving, well, actually 4, involving a human chop shop here in Phoenix. That's one thing I'm going to talk about. That's first on the list. And then CNN reported on a teen that was harvested, or attempted to, at least before death. We'll find out about that in a minute. China killing prisoners for organ harvesting. That was reported from Forbes. And Braindeath, a hoax for organ harvesting. I'll probably do that. I'll probably put that as number 2 because that seems to preface everything. So, okay, let's check out the Phoenix Chop Shop. This came from abc15.com. This is not your Neon Nettles crap, guys. This is at least mainstream, if I can help it. So this is being reported, this is on your TVs, right? So let me pull up the browser. Go Gadget TV. FBI shines light on now shut down human chop shop in Phoenix. Posted by Nicole Valdez on July 20th, 2019. It was just yesterday, really. Several years have passed since Biological Resource Center shut its doors. Let's hear what they have to say about just that very thing.
First at 10, it's been more than 5 years since ABC 15 first exposed a scandal involving a body donation business in Phoenix.
A place known as the Biological Resource Center, and a place with one promise.
Connects those who wish to donate their body to science with medical research and education facilities.
Turns out the donation was just the beginning.
The owner accused of selling bodies and body parts. A trial set to begin in just months. And tonight, new grisly details of what the FBI says really happened.
ABC 15's Nicole Valdez is live. And Nicole, this paints a Frankenstein-like picture.
Yeah, it really does. Katie and Steve, closed for years. This building off 24th Street and University doesn't look like much, but according to new claims in these court documents, the Biological Resource Center was essentially running a chop shop for human body parts, mixing, matching, and selling them in ways we'd never heard of until tonight.
Described as unsettling, but it sounds a whole lot worse. One FBI agent revealing what it was really like inside the Phoenix body donation facility. In 2014, he saw everything from buckets of heads, arms, and legs to coolers filled with severed penises when the FBI raided the building.
Confused and angry. We thought this was going to be doing some good.
He even spotted a smaller head sewn onto a larger torso in a
Oh my God, a smaller head sewn onto a bigger torso. Like this is what's going on less than an hour away from me right now. Okay, it's a little bit too close to home. And if it was too low to hear it earlier, we were talking about right here in Phoenix, Arizona, a human chop shop. Listen to what she says about the sewn head.
a quote, Frankenstein manner.
It wasn't a choice we made. It wasn't a choice any of the families made.
Body parts piled on top of each other inside Biological Resource Center, where families donated their loved ones for medical research.
Discoveries of sickness and disease, maybe come up with a cure.
Some say the company violated everything they promised.
Tragedy that's never resolved, and it just keeps going on and deeper and deeper.
The limbs, according to that agent, with no apparent identification. The company sued months after the FBI raided families claiming their loved ones weren't treated with dignity and respect, a promise written on their own consent forms. The company also accused of selling body parts for profit after saying they'd only use the parts they needed and would cremate the ones they didn't and return them. A torso with a head apparently went for $2,400, a leg about $1,100. They'd even sell knees and feet alone for under $500.
Now, the owner of the Biological Resource Center was already sentenced, but he was only given probation. He will be back in court in October, though, for several civil lawsuits filed by Arizona families. For now, we're live in Phoenix. Nicole Valdez, ABC 15, Arizona.
Yeah, probation. Just probation. That's all you get for selling body parts. The Biological Research Center in Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you, Nicole Valdez, for that report. Ugh. Dudes, too close to home, right in the open. That is a good segue right on into why. Why? This is from lifesitenews.com, an article titled Braindeath is a medical fiction invented to harvest organs from living people, says expert. I'm going to read this article, most of it. Rome, March 20th, 2019, LifeSite News reports, is it morally permissible to harvest the organs of a person in a coma declared brain dead by doctors? Why and when did organ transplantation first come about? And what is the church's teaching on using organs from a person deemed to be brain dead? What is the church's teaching? These questions and more are answered by Doyen Nguyen during an in-depth interview with the Italian magazine DC Christian. Read the full interview below, where she blames a consumerist culture for causing many to accept the idea of brain death, a term she refers to as an incoherent medical fiction. All right, so let's find out. She says Nguyen is a lay Dominican and professor at the Pontifical University of St. Thomas Aquinas Angelicum in Rome. She will be presenting on the topics of brain death at the a medical legal construct, scientific and philosophical evidence conference hosted by the John Paul II Academy for Human Life and Family in Rome, May 20th to 21st. I think I need a little bit more martini. Professor Joseph Seifert Bishop, enthusiast Scheidner, and okay, let me try to read this a little better. Professor Joseph Seifert Bishop, Athanasius Schneider, and I don't know what the hell FR would even be. What the hell is Friar? Okay, Friar Edmund Maltstein, among others, will be present at the gathering as well, which will be held at the hotel. I was hoping to. Father, what the. Thank you, voice from the hallway. Gosh, jeez, hold on. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing like a TV show going on in the distance, but it's actually myself and the participant listening in the hallway. It's hilarious. Anyway, basically, Nguyen says this was done in order to serve the interests of the organ transplantation industry and to avoid public outcry. So she's gonna she's reaching out to a committee. In the far-reaching interview, Nguyen says that an ad hoc Harvard committee in 1968 redefined the term brain death to mean someone in an irreversible coma. And she says that this was done in order to serve the interests of the organ transplantation industry and to avoid public outcry that would have viewed transplant surgeons as organ-stealing killers. So you see the term brain death, like, comes from that right there. So I think this is how they're refutes the invention of the term brain death to describe someone in an irreversible coma by arguing that the term irreversible coma itself indicates that the patient is alive, for the simple reason that only a living person can become comatose or remain comatose. In other words, it would be an oxymoron to say that a corpse is in a coma. When a doctor declares a comatose patient to be dead, the patient does not thereby become dead, she says. So let me read that again. When a doctor declares a comatose patient to be dead, Nguyen criticized John Paul II's 2000 address in the 18th International Congress of the Transplantation Society for its short-sightedness. Nguyen says John Paul's remarks, which suggested brain death in certain cases, does not seem to conflict with the essential elements of a sound anthropology. Did not take into consideration all the literature available on the topic at the time. So she's accusing John Paul of not considering everything when he I don't know. I don't really know what these people are like. It becomes clearer here in the next one, I promise. But Nguyen says the address should be amended or better yet retracted. She proceeds to explain how the church should understand brain death. So she's more fighting for the church, it seems. So there seems to be an argument between the church and common folk. There's frickin' chop shops right here, 45 minutes away. Brain death. I'm gonna stop reading this one because honestly, like I read some of the stuff up here and it made a whole lot more sense than what the hell I'm reading right now. And there's too many hard names. Screw that. But listen to this: China killing prisoners. Forbes magazine reports this one to harvest organs. Now we've heard a lot of stuff coming from China. Okay, there's a lot of stuff coming from China, but Forbes is reporting China killing prisoners to harvest organs for transplant tribunal fines. Okay, on June 17th. Come on, get out of my way. Hey, these ads, like they're everywhere. Like, come on, like maybe later. Thank you. Right. On June 17th, an independent tribunal, which has been investigating forced organ harvesting. Really, there's a tribunal investigating forced organ harvesting from Chinese prisoners, including Falun Gong practitioners and whatever the hell that is, Muslims, published its final judgment. Okay, so the China tribunal concluded that forced organ harvesting has been committed for years throughout China on a significant scale. Is that a surprise to anybody? And the tribunal has had no evidence that the significant infrastructure associated with China's transplantation industry has been dismantled, and absent a satisfactory explanation as to the source of readily available organs, concludes that forced organ harvesting continues till today. It sure does. It sure does. So it's not isolated to America, ladies and gentlemen. China's got a tribunal investigating organ harvesting. Now, while I'm reading some of this, if you have information regarding organ harvesting or a brain death hoax, get it ready, get a link, because in the next episode here coming up, we're going to be having a public discussion. That's what we do, part A and part B. The topic here being obviously organ harvesting and brain death for this one. So it goes on to say the final judgment confirmed an interim statement from late last year that the tribunal's members are certain unanimously and sure beyond reasonable doubt that in China, forced organ harvesting from prisoners of conscience has been practiced for a substantial period of time, involving a very substantial number of victims. Separate reports have suggested the market for such organs in China to be worth billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. This is a big market. And we look at the children that are being detained right now at the southern borders. That's something's up with that, and some people are making connections with that and both human trafficking and organ harvesting and satanic ritual abuse. I'm filling up a folder with people. I just downloaded today. Ex-FBI agent reports on satanic child abuse and pedophile rings. We have a child abuse. You can catch the show I did a couple weeks ago on child abuse, where it was the Hampshire, was it the Hampshire case? Very, very disturbing stuff. Goes into great gory detail. So yeah, the last part here, the tribunal's chair, Sir Geoffrey Nice QC, who made his name by prosecuting Serbia's Slobodan Milosevic, said that there is no evidence of the practice of prisoner organ harvesting having been stopped, and the tribunal is satisfied that it is continuing. No evidence of the practice having been stopped, and it's basically concluded that it's continuing. So that's straight out of Forbes, right over in China. Now here you go, CNN. Teen harvested before he was dead. We're going to finish this one off with an article straight from CBSNews.com. Did hospital kill teen for his organs? An Ohio couple whose teenage son was injured in a snowboarding accident has filed a lawsuit claiming his doctors harvested his organs before he was declared dead. So this is worse than I thought, Caroline. I was trying to tell you this one a minute ago, but I got so many things I'm downloading. The stories are getting mixed. 18-year-old Gregory Jacobs of Bellevue, Ohio, suffered a closed head injury 2 years ago while snowboarding on a high school-sponsored ski trip in Findlay Lake, New York. He was airlifted to Hammett Medical Center in northwestern Pennsylvania, where he died. The suit, which was filed earlier this month, this was actually not this month, this was in 2009 article, claims that doctors and a representative of the Center Organ Recovery and Education Corps, a group that helps hospitals Gregory's death by administering medication and by removing his breathing tube. Michael and Teresa Jacobs also alleged that their son had not been formally declared brain dead when surgeons began the transplant procedure. So he wasn't even performed or declared brain dead. Hammett and Corps deny any wrongdoing. Hammett says the care that Gregory received throughout his course of treatment at Hammett following the severe head trauma he sustained was timely, appropriate, and well documented. Proper consent was received in order for his organs. Oh, man. I should reboot every time I do a show because of this thing right here. So hold on, let me fix that crackling noise. Okay, I hope it's working. Okay, that's better. Should I just read them like that? So it says, Hammett and Kaur deny any wrongdoing. Hammett says the care that Gregory received throughout his course was appropriate and well documented, and it was timely. Proper consent was received in order for his organs to be donated, and the protocols that were followed were consistent with all established donation procedures. Any claims otherwise are completely baseless. We will vigorously defend any accusations of wrongdoing. A statement from Kaur reads in part, as in all donation cases, Kaur followed all regulated medical protocols. In the case of Gregory Jacobs, the allegations against Kaur are baseless and untrue. On the early show, Monday, co-anchor Maggie Rodriguez remarked to Michael and Teresa that many people would find it preposterous that a hospital would intentionally kill a young man for his organs. Well, it's not, Michael said. Asked why he believes it, Michael replied, because they did. I know they did. By the evidence of that, my wife was told. What? I confused my own brain. Asked why he believes it, Michael replied, because they did. I know they did. By the evidence of that, my wife has told me. It's a weird way to either say it or read it. Teresa says the records indicated that they started harvesting procedures, including the incision, when he was alive. And he was not even pronounced dead until 29 minutes later. That's pretty shocking. They started harvesting his organs while he was alive, and he wasn't even pronounced dead 29 minutes later. Now, why? Why did they do this? Why would they even attempt to do this? Why are they so quick to get your organs? It's because a lot of these organs are basically useless very quickly after they are removed from the body. So like they must be doing something to make sure they're procuring these organs and getting them where they need to be rather quickly. And while they're still fresh, while they still have blood pumping through them, that's the point here. Of course, they did it while the boy was still alive, unfortunately, because there's still blood being pumped through these organs, and they want to make sure these organs are still all working. He just had head trauma. He's a prime target for organ harvesting. Sad thing, and this is happening. This is happening rampantly. Switch gears for just a second. Autistic child kidnapped by state CPS system and trafficked. So I'm going to go in more detail on this one in another episode, the human trafficking episode. But this is the extent of what's to come in future episodes here on the Grassroots Think Tank on the Hori Sheet Show. Autistic child kidnapped by state ends up in CPS system. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really understand why, but the good thing about fixing the computer like this is I don't have to keep closing and they're quick. The only reason it takes me voice effects, and I don't know. Anyway, the chat. As I was reading. Hey, Joe Mama, how's it going? Talking about my lemon drop. Anybody got some input to talk about with the organ harvesting? What is lime making it harder for me to say stuff, or am I just not drunk enough to do a show? I'm gonna go with I'm not drunk enough to do a show. China always ahead in tech. China sells ground up baby fetus in capsules for stamina, says Holly Hughes. Jonathan Dotry says, you got a static issue you have to work on. It just went away. Oh, thanks. Yep. Got Caroline in the hallway. Told me that one. Appreciate it. I missed it. Stop sugarcoating it for us, Hoyer. Tell us how you really feel. I'm trying, bro. Yeah. It seems to save
everything but one heartbeat. I'll have to remember that in the future.
Don't submit to being an organ donor. Well, you know, Ted, hey, look, I don't want to get in any trouble. I'm not suggesting not to be an organ donor. I'm just saying these are highly suspect news articles, and I'm collecting more every single week. Caroline says I have to change my driver's license. Yeah, that was crazy. A Chinese tribunal has investigated and concluded that it's still going on. That's pretty ridiculous. Brother Hoare, your audio is fuzzy and messed up. Unplug your mic. Yeah, it's something else. I hope it's still not doing that. I know that was going on a minute ago, but if it's still happening right now, I can't do anything about it. I'm gonna reboot, so the next show it's gonna be fixed. Anyway, keep this at the about the 40-minute mark, so 2 more minutes. If anybody has any news, make sure you gather your links. What else did I want to say about this in particular? That's pretty much it. Don't want to beat a dead horse here. I'm just collecting more articles every day. Carla Ripple, thank you for that. Share the links, guys. Share the links to the show. The only way the show is going to grow and we're going to get more people in here to talk about this kind of stuff is if you guys share the links. And, you know, they got me censored as hell. As a listener, and click that share button, copy the link up there, put it somewhere on Facebook. Tell people, watch the Grassroots Think Tank. It's going to be really interactive. So anyway, the next portion of the show here is going to be the chat for both the public and the paid supporters, the Patreon subscribers. I'll do an ending of that show with just the paid chat, so everybody will get a chance to talk for the majority of the show. There'll be another 10-minute timer for me to, of course, reboot. There'll be time for me to reboot, and then I'll come back online, do a 10-minute timer, and we'll go into the discussion. Any questions, leave it now in the chat. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in just a few minutes, 15 minutes or so. I'm just going to have a discussion. All right, I'm out. What Google user with a question right there at the end. Just tuned in. What you mean by Braindeath hoax? It seems like they're declaring people brain dead and trying to get consent to organ harvest while the bodies are still alive. That's something that's, and there was a lady in the article I read, the second article, that was kind of really hard to follow. There was a lot of hard names in that one, but let me tell you where it was while we're still on the subject of it. It was an article on LifeSite News. You can read it for yourself. You probably do a hell of a better job reading it than I seem to be able to on the stream. It was kind of a bomb right there. with increased experience and knowledge in the development in the field of transplantation, there's a great need for the tissues and organs of the hopelessly comatose in order to restore health. Those, part of the damn reason is the article's filled with grammatical errors. You'll find out that's what was really hard for me to deal with. But if any part of that is true, it's just definitely seems to tie in. Brain death doesn't seem to be what we think it is. It could be a mask for your family member is brain dead. He's not coming out of this one. Let's go get that. Let's go get those organs harvested. And I'm going to start collaborating a couple of other stories I know that are scattered in here. There was a soldier, I thought it was in this folder. A soldier was beat up. Oh yeah, it's in my cops folder. This guy was beat up by the cops while he was arrested. He was like a military veteran or something, ex-veteran, whatever, soldier. He was killed at jail because of the scuffle with the cops from I think pretty much wrongful arrest or some stupid shit, And before his family could even get to his body, his throat was removed. And I have that in the folder of bad cops, but like it makes you wonder. Like I wonder if more than his throat was removed. I have to check out that article and find it again. But it's really problematic what's going on. I have a whole folder filled with bad cops, bad police stories and stuff. Anyway, all that coming up on the Grassroots Think Tank. Make sure you share the show. Discussion portion is coming up. Just a minute. Goodbye. Definitely gonna have to get an outro. But for now, this will do.